Warning, this show contains adult language. Welcome to another edition of Up and In It. I'm your host, Adrian Babashoff, and if you're new here, welcome as well. And if you're wondering what the show is about, it's entirely dedicated to improving quality of life for both people and planet through liberation and independence, moving you from surviving to thriving and living life on your own terms. Life can get crazy. Life can get very stressful. I want to help you guys out today to alleviate that. I'm going to give you guys 5 easy ways, 5 easy things that you can do for free. You really don't have to pay to do any of this stuff, and it's going to help you guys out. And that's what I've noticed in my life is that there's a lot of hats that I wear. I'm a single dad. I own a business. I'm doing this podcast, another podcast, 3 YouTube channels actually. And I'm running TikTok and Instagram, and I'm growing my own food, and I'm researching about how to live a more resilient life. There's so much going on that life could get so stressful, and stress is really the silent killer, as they say. And it's what ruins, I think, a lot of our lives. So why would we try to make things easier for ourselves? And what I've done for my life is I've taken the macro where I look back and say, well, where did things go wrong? What did I do? What happened? What was involved here? And how can I make that not happen again? Some things are just little tiny simple things. They're little mosquitoes in life that just keep nipping at you, right? Till one day you just lose it and you throw the teapot across the room. Let's not do that. Let's make things easier. So let's talk about 5 easy things that we can use to alleviate that stress in life today. I think my very first one is a big one, and it's get everything in writing. Ever notice that you talk to somebody, you come up with an agreement or something, and you say, hey, we're going to do this, but you're going to have to do that for me, right? You'll both help each other out, right? And it's spoken. And it ends up when we do those things, the other person didn't hold up their bargain. We get pissed off, we get angry. A lot of times in business, when you have a contract, right? And somebody adds something, hey, do you think you can get over and just handle that thing over there for me? Right? Fix that weather vane I got on top. And you say, well, yeah, but I'll charge you, $20 to do it, whatever it is, and you verbal agreement. You're like, yeah, okay. And then, it's a large job. It goes on for like 3 days. And then on the 4th day, you fix the weather vane. You said you do the whole job, $500 without the weather vane, with the initial cost. And then you come and you add $520. They go, what's this $20 extra charge? And you're like, well, I fixed the weather vane like we talked about. And they're like, no, I thought that was just something that was simple. I didn't expect to get charged for something like that, like what's going on here? And refer to our paperwork, If you had your paperwork, you had everything in writing, you would see instead of those verbal agreements. That's where a lot of contracts and things, in business go really bad. You would never, ever, ever want to go off a verbal agreement. I think if you got employees, if you're hiring somebody, one of the things we can do is to write these things down. We can say, well, here's what's expected of you. You're supposed to be here at 9. You don't leave until after 5. Lunch break is, 30 minutes, whatever, at this time. And here's the amount of work. Here's what's expected of you. And if it's not fulfilled, then it's breach of contract or breach of our agreement. We'll have to find somebody else. Do you think that we can handle all this? And do you have any suggestions yourself? Like, what are things that we need to do? What do you expect from me? Maybe it was required that I provide all the pens, right, for the signatures, that you don't, as an employee, you don't go and buy your own pens. I supply everything, right, down in writing. So if they needed a pen and I kept saying, well, you need to get your own pen. We get these confusions. We get all of these things. But that's business. That's employment. And that's asking people, in your personal life for a favor. But that's where I look at it as the first one, is the personal lives. When we want to have an agreement about something like, hey, you're going to be there Saturday at 5 o'clock in the morning to pick me up, right? My vehicle's broken, whatever. You got this. Yeah. Then the best secret to put things into writing is a text message. And that's what I always say. I text to people, I'll talk to them and I'll say, and it may seem kind of rude. So to get around the rudeness that I don't trust people, because I don't, is they'll say, hey, can you pick me up at 5 or something the next day? And I'll say, yeah, I can do that for you. Well, you know what? Let me figure it out. Let me check with my appointments first and make sure I can. And then I'll text you. Is that okay? Yeah. Then I text them, I'll be there at 5 o'clock in the morning to pick you up on X date. And so that way, when I show up and it's 5 a.m. and they're there and they're like, what are you doing? We said 6. So I'm like, no, we didn't. We look at your text. So that's a friendly way to try to lock people in and say, hey, I was here at 5 o'clock. I left after 5:30. You didn't answer your phone. And that's what we agreed on. And you weren't there, so I left. and the person's pissed off. Well, you should have told me 6. You had your cards wrong, your timing wrong. That has nothing to do with me. So I think in my life, as far as stress is, I run everything like a business. I think you should run your life like a business. And that's where a lot of these things I developed was there's no room for error in my business. I lose money, I lose clients, I can get sued. So, and things could go very, very wrong. And I think a lot of stress in our lives, a client, big deal. We lost the client, something went wrong. Maybe we lost money. That's replaceable. But a family member, a friend or something like that in your life is not replaceable. That's horrible if we lose a friend for life, right? So get everything, any agreements in writing. If you're joining a community, right? Community has community rules. You want an intentional community. A lot of these pieces, when you have a bunch of people coming together to fulfill the same person, to live together, there needs to be some sort of agreement, some sort of laws or regulations, right? So we refer to your paperwork. Here's what's not allowed. We don't walk around nude, unless it is acceptable. You would look and say, why is this person walking around nude? I didn't know, cover my children's eyes. And well, it says in there that if you so choose to, you should have read your paperwork before you join, because a lot of us, it doesn't really bother us, and we're not going to change things just for you as an individual, right? So you see all of those things. You should have referred to your paperwork and read everything carefully. Any questions you have or concerns, and we go through it. So everything in writing relieves a lot of stress. The next one is organize a schedule for everything and stick to it. Now, I see a lot of people, and certain people I have to deal with at times with my children, who we have a dentist appointment pops up, and they're like, oh, okay, what do? I get down on that text message, right? Text me the exact date. And then one important note that I didn't put on there is I always say confirm. And people I deal with, I tell them, I do not send you a text. I don't send you a text, and if it goes unacknowledged, that you got it. I want a K, okay, an O with a K, or just a K, something, or got it, something. Let me know that you received it and everything's in agreement. That's kind of like the e-signature right there. So yeah, get your schedule of everything. The moment somebody tells me something, like even at home, my daughter will tell me something like, hey, can we go out and get like I don't know, I want to go out grocery shopping with you or something. I want to get a certain thing. I write it down immediately. Write everything down and schedule everything. So whenever I'm going to go to the grocery store, I'll go out and I'll schedule. Here's my day. Fridays is my day for grocery shopping. This one's actually really good because what we have is my food can go bad. My weekends are my 2 days off to clean house and take care of a bunch of business. And if I go and do all my grocery shopping on Friday, that means my vegetables stay fresh for the weekend. I've got my barbecue Saturdays and things like that, and everything works out really, really great. So I schedule those things, and I write everything down, exactly what I need from the grocery store, to wandering around aimlessly, right? But to get back to the words here, the meaning of all of this, as far as less stress, is that some people just say, yeah, we'll go ahead and do that, next, I'll have a doctor's appointment in a month, and then you completely forget. So write a schedule from Sunday all the way to Saturday, and what we're going to do is we're going to write down everything from the date and the time. We're going to confirm these things in writing so that it's there, so that if you make your move or somebody's supposed to come and make the move to help you and they don't show up, we know that this person's can't be trusted, and those are things in the future. If we can't trust them with little things, why trust them with big things? We eliminate these people basically. Because I found in my life that there's actually two types of people really. In my life, there's just that you do, and then there's you don'ts. And there's mostly people who don'ts. And when I think about, to pause here for a second to reflect on all of this, the inspiration of the show, where a lot of jobs, why did it go bad? Wrong materials were delivered. Why were the wrong materials delivered? Because somebody didn't double check. They didn't look at the order right. They didn't go over everything. They just kind of slapped it together, didn't care what they were doing. That's a whole chain reaction that messes up the client, messes up me, the contractor, messes up the supplier, just because the forklift driver had a bad day or just doesn't really care about their stuff. It causes a huge mess. A lot of problems, not all in life, are formed because of other people. If you were a business person like myself, where meaning that you just go in, it's not about just making money, but you organize everything. You like to have flow in your life. You write every single thing down. You stick to it. You don't deviate off the tracks. You have discipline, and you're there when you say you are. And as I say, be a person of your word, a man, a woman of your word. You own almost nothing in this planet but your word. And you get perceived as a person, you get known as a person of your word. Opportunities will jump your way all the time. But I think that we need to organize to separate and try little experiments. If somebody says they're going to do something for you, let's schedule it. Let's write it, get it down in writing. If they don't show up, just disregard it. When somebody asks to offer me help now, sometimes I know who they are. They're a don't. They have good intentions in their heart. It's just that I don't know if they're going to show up. And I don't want to have that weird, awkward thing every Christmas I see them where I'm like, yeah, you didn't show up. You didn't this and that. We both know it, and it makes people feel awful. Why not just say, no, you know what? Thank you so much. But, I think I've already got it covered. But thanks for the offering. Maybe in the future we'll do so. And you just keep letting it out. I think you can let people in slowly. People change. Do it with small things, though, not very big things. All right. In life, I think a lot of people don't know what they want. They don't know what they're doing. There's no, what's your plan? So how are you going to go about with this stuff? And they're like, I don't know. What are you doing about it? I don't know. What do you expect out of life? I don't know. There's just so much. Or the worst one, I want to do this. Awesome. What's your plan on getting there? Oh, I don't know. I just know that I want to do it. How many things happen without a plan? Right? You're going to start a new business, or you want to start getting yourself on social media. Let's just say, one of my daughters wants to. She was into painting, and she wanted to start a TikTok channel. Well, before you start a TikTok channel or YouTube or something, like I asked, what's your plan? Well, I'm just going to make pictures. Well, how many pictures can you make? Do you think you could develop one every single day? Because you're going to need to post something new regularly, at least once a week. And she's like, well, these drawings take me a long time and an awful lot of work. And I says, well, I know. And I know you love doing them. But can you develop enough to keep up with the demand that you need to you got to come up with some sort of plan. YouTube doesn't work that way, right? At least the last time I checked. But yeah, whatever people are doing in life, I think there's a lot of different things that happen, such as failures, which we're going to talk about. And a lot of things discourage and cause stress because there was no plan, right? I think, like for me, I planned what I'm doing for like Thanksgiving was my last thing that I planned for an event. I had my mom over and we had way too much wine. I'll tell you that right now, and other stuff that was just ridiculous. We had way too much food, but that was our thing. Our thing was, I'm going to pick you up. We're going to take 9 days off, I think it was, or 10 days off for Thanksgiving. I just want to take a break from work and everything. And we're just going to fill up that time with sitting in a jacuzzi, eating food. We went and bought prime rib, and I smoked some tri-tip, and I had everything all planned. I didn't necessarily say, well, this day that, getting really, how do they say, anal about it, right? Not too square about it. I just said, hey, here's all the food. Let's get it done. I don't want to go grocery shopping. The week's going to be crazy. You got Black Friday. Everybody's going to be out. Let's get everything we need so that we could just sit back and relax. And it was one of the most relaxing 10 days that I've had in a while. But I do everything that way. That way there's less stress. When I want to take time off, I take 100% time off, So here's the difference. What I notice most people is they'll go grocery shopping. They don't even know what they even want to get. They kind of know, well, Thanksgiving, we'll get mashed potatoes, turkey, stuff. And I know people very close to me who will show up without the stuffing. They're like, oh, my God, I forgot the stuffing. All right, I'm going to go back to the store. Everybody chill out. Oh, we forgot ice. Oh, we this and I have everything organized where we get everything all at once. I'm sitting home. I'm relaxing first thing in the morning, having a mimosa, with breakfast going, I can't wait to eat the food that we're going to eat. Granted, I'm not perfect. I'm not saying that. But I just see a lot of people in life carelessly going through without a plan, bigger than food and, birthday parties or, Thanksgiving, is that I hate my job. I'm very stressed out in my life. My life sucks. Life is hard. What are we going to do about it? What are we going to get out? One day, what's your dream? I want to live in Hawaii or something. Well, what's your plan on getting there? Well, I'm going to do it one day. Well, what are you doing? The sad thing is most people don't plan. Most people don't know that there's sequence of events of things that need to happen, and they'll never get to their dream. They will continue doing what they're doing because it's easy, and maybe they don't want to put the effort in, or maybe they put the effort in but didn't plan it out. And that causes a lot of stress and unhappiness in life, things we don't need. Now, it may sound like, oh, there's a lot of work. Adrian's saying, let's just get down, militaristic over here. You don't have to get militaristic, and you don't have to plan every single little thing down to detail, but it helps. All I can say. especially if you're making some sort of life change, come up with a plan, at least an outline, and see if that's even something you want to do. I guarantee you guys, when you live like that, there's a lot less stress. So the next one I'm going to move on is start an emergency fund. We talked a lot about this in the budgeting section, the episode that we did. And money, I think, is one of the biggest things that stresses people out. I have to say, when this whole COVID thing started, I took my children away from their mother. I know that may sound harsh and everything, but she is a bartender, and I own my own business, so I can go to work whenever I want. I've also designed my life where I can take off whenever I want. I did not know what was happening here. I think that was, in 2020 in March. I freaked out. I was like, what, there's some transmissible disease going on? There's something, what the heck? I mean, I was walking into Costco to tell you guys a story. It was that day, I guess, that everything exploded. I'm walking into Costco, and here comes these people with like hordes of toilet paper and drinking water. It was like lots of bottled water and toilet paper. And I'm looking, going, that's peculiar. One person, two person, and some regular stuff. All of a sudden, another person come. I mean, we're talking like loaded. And I'm like, what the heck is up with the drinking water and the toilet paper? And I just disregarded it. I'm like, whatever. This is people are weird. Maybe there's a sale. So I go walk over just to look. Got curious because I kept seeing them. And the next thing I know, the toilet paper is almost depleted. The water was almost gone. And I looked and I asked somebody next to me, I says, excuse me, what is up with the deal with the toilet paper? Guys, I don't watch the news or anything like that. Most of my life is research and working and actually making content instead of consuming content. So finally someone told me, we have a pandemic. Where you've been underneath a rock? We have a pandemic. And I went, what? What is going? I left my grocery cart and everything, went back outside to my truck, got on my phone and put on the news and went, oh my goodness. What the heck? Now to tell you guys, I didn't run in and get toilet paper because I'm stocked up on things, whether there's a recession, depression, or a outbreak of a pandemic. I've got everything I need. That's what relieves a lot of stress. I don't have this on my notes. It should have been though, to be stockpiling food and things like that, regardless of any situations. But don't have enough time. But yeah, I walked out and I says, oh my goodness. So back to the main point was that when I got home, this thing could be transmitted. And what worse job could you have than being in public where you're around a lot of people constantly and they're transmitted, contact basically. And I said, I can figure this out. I called up my children's mother and I told them, I don't want you to be around the kids. You can come outside the gate and say hello. Do you understand why? And she was like, yeah. And I'm like, I don't know what to do. What do we do from here? I got to get some thinking done. But the first thing I'm not going to do is expose my kids. We were going on lockdown. I didn't need anybody to tell me to go on lockdown. I went down on my own lockdown. And it was scary. Now, the reason why I said start an emergency funds is when you're living like I do and you got enough money for like 2 years if you needed it, probably 3 if you really, really went down to the bare necessities, Jungle Book style, it felt really good. A lot of that, there was stress. I don't know what's going on. Could my children die from this thing? Could I die? The world's upside down. But having that emergency funds just gave me that option. I see a lot of people, they don't have the option in their life to say, well, we're just going to shut everything down. They lose everything, right? The most people right now, $1,000 problem that heads their way could ruin their lives. They're not Americans. I've got listeners all over the world, but Americans aren't really good at saving money, and we need to change that. When you have any situation besides a pandemic or anything else, just your day-to-day life, when you're sitting there going, if you're an entrepreneur, you own your own business, where's my next paycheck going to come from? I got to close more deals. I got to make sure, where am I with money? When you have that reserve there, it takes life and makes it a lot less stressful. If you're working for somebody and you have a 9-to-5 job, something happens with that business and it goes down, because I'm sure a lot of you have seen a lot of businesses go down, and I think we may be heading towards a crash, recession of some sort, where a lot of businesses, especially with AI coming, the Great Reset and all that kind of stuff, I think that there's going to be a lot of businesses that are going to go out. They're going to go out of business for good. And if you're working for some of those, especially corporations, they're all tied. It's a chain. If the chain gets broken, the whole business goes down. You're sitting there happily working. You can get the next day where we need to downsize and you're basically relieved of your job. Now, if you had some emergency funds, it would be horrible for you to lose your job. I'm not saying it'd be easy, but if you had the emergency funds, you would come home and go, what am I going to do? I need to come up with a plan. But you have the funds to be able to take care of that. I think in conjunction with toilet paper, obviously, I guess the most important thing to people, but having canned foods and reserves of food and gasoline, which we don't have time to talk about today, if you're prepared for such catastrophes and things like that in life, it makes things go a lot smoother. I think we definitely just need to own up, guys. Money doesn't buy happiness, as a lot of people say. I've got some ideas about that, but it definitely is the lubrication of life, and it definitely can help you get out of situations. And I think that we need to get rid of that old notion that money is evil. Money is not evil. Money can be used for many things. A hammer, you look at it's a tool. A hammer could be used to strike somebody and hurt them very bad. It could also be used to build a shelter to keep them warm or cold, out of the elements, so that they can survive, they can live. Right? Many different things. That's just how we view it. And I think the view of money is definitely wrong in our society. I don't know why it's become this villain, even though it's something that everybody's after. Wouldn't everybody want to win the lottery? What happened to money being evil, right? So if we can get past that stuff and understand. I know the next thing is a lot of people are, well, I don't even make enough to start. Yeah, you do. You need to stop acting your wage. Act below your wage. Live like I do. Live like the rich do. They don't go and spend it on extravagant things all the time just because. They make sure they got emergency funds. They buy stuff when they earn the money. They have the cash, the smart ones. And believe it or not, guys, rich people go down too. Rich businesses go down all the time. So, yeah, start now. Things I did 3, 4, 5 years ago, I look, all those pennies in the buckets, they all add up. And develop yourself a plan, a schedule, and some discipline, as I said, to alleviate the stress in your life. Start that now, and you'll be surprised just in 6 months how much you can save. And the last thing I have is realize that failure is your friend. This is a big one. I think everybody's afraid. Everybody's stressed out about screwing up, about starting something different, quitting your job and getting another. Isn't that stressful? I want to quit my job and get a new one. Right now in 2021, December, guys, this whole year, it seems like businesses are needing people to work for them. If you work a regular 9-to-5 job, you can upscale right now. They are willing to pay you right now to give you a bonus to show up. McDonald's is offering a bonus. I think it was like $400 or something. Please, we need people. Why not change to get another job? I know change is stressful to a lot of people, but that's because we've been living in our comfort zones for too long. We need to get out of those comfort zones, which is a show in and of itself. But I think the biggest things, people's dreams, is what if I screw up? And people don't understand that anybody successful has screwed up probably 1,000, 1,000,000 times. I was at Edison with the light bulb. How many times it took him to be able to invent that light bulb to make it perfect? I think it was 1,000 times. Success is 90% perspiration and 10% inspiration. You got to keep trying and trying and trying. And unfortunately, I don't know where this comes from other than I bash a lot on the public education system. But if you fail that class that year, you're going to look stupid. Your friends are going to laugh at you. You're not going to graduate from 6th grade to 7th grade. You're going to hold you back a year. That's embarrassing. A lot of things in life, not just the public education system, but a lot of people are scared of their opinions of what other people think about them. So they're scared. Am I going to look dumb? Who cares if you're going to look dumb? Why don't you try things so that maybe you'll actually look pretty cool, or back from the 90s, you'll look rad, right? You'll be the cool person on the block who invented this thing or tried this new thing. Maybe you switched up those jobs, got a better job, and now if you're keeping up with the Joneses, you got the really nice car that you always wanted that makes you happy. If that makes you happy, I think I'll go for it. But switch things up. Try new things all the time. That's what brings new things in life through art and music and inventions, things that improve quality of life on the planet is through people trying things and failing and finding out. You will learn way more than failures than you do any of your successes. In fact, for those of you who you're like, I want to be successful in life, right? Most people who are successful drop their guard because I'm successful. I got everything I need. Everything could go on autopilot. What did we learn from this pandemic? Nobody saw this coming. A lot of people crashed and burned. They didn't. They weren't able to pivot. They weren't able to try new things. Maybe their business got attacked, and they were like, I got to do something different. I don't know what that is. I haven't tried. I haven't thought. I got comfortable, right? What if I fail? Your business is going to fail anyways if you don't do something. So if you're constantly trying new things and failing, you're going to learn a lot. And what did we learn from this pandemic? Is that anything is possible. That this whole system we think is safe and secure is not safe, and it's stressful. In order to alleviate that stress, we have to learn to think for ourselves, work for ourselves, become inventive, and create our way out of problems that we have, just like the one we're in right now that could possibly get worse. Not with the COVID, with the outbreaks and stuff. I don't think it's going to get worse. I think it's subsiding, but I don't know. What I'm more worried about is all this inflation and the things crashing around us and the big change with technology that's going on around us. Well, that's stressful. But when we have reserves, when we have the mindset, when we have a schedule, we have a plan for all these things instead of waiting till actually the time when it's time to abandon ship, we already have a life vest. We already have a lifeboat on the bottom of the Titanic, right? We know where the boats are on the Titanic. If it goes down, I've got myself a couple bottles of water and stuff, and I have a direction, a compass. I have the experience. I know how to navigate by the stars. I've been studying a little bit. I'm not professional, but I do know that the Big Dipper points north all the time, depending on which part of the hemisphere you're from. I know where I'm at. I can survive this. That alleviates stress, people, in life. To have a plan and to not let people bring you down. And nobody's here. You need to understand, there's nobody here that could really help you but you. I can tell you all this information that we're hearing today to alleviate a lot of stress in your life, but I can't make that happen for you, and I don't have all the answers. I think a lot of the stuff I gave you today is universal. Everybody could use these tips, and it can improve their life, but everybody has different things going on, and you have to decide for yourself. And once you make that decision of, hey, I'm going to handle my business, I'm going to handle my life, I'm going to be a person of my word, the feeling that you will get is self-fulfillment. Others around you will notice that you are a doer. You're not a don'ter, right? So that's the message today, guys. Go out there and live a resilient lifestyle. Go start creating sustainability, resiliency in your life the way you see fit. Learn from others. Learn from yourself. Take a look at the macro of what's going on around you. Where is all this stress coming from? And what could you do about it? Unfortunately, a lot of people don't do many things. They just accept things for what they are. And I'm here to tell you that we don't have to go with the grain. We can go completely against the grain. Initially, it's a little bit of work and some change and some adaptability. But once you get there, the level of freedom. Right now, guys, I actually consider going to the beach. I was thinking about doing some TikTok videos, just go to the ocean and just maybe drive back just to get a break. I might do it. I don't know. But the fact is that I have the option. And that's what makes me excited about life, is that while others, as I'm recording this show today on this rainy morning, they're all gone at work, I'm here with you guys. I decided to take this time off so we don't have the rumbling of the truck in the background. Can't do this forever. But yeah, it's a wonderful life, and that's what I want for you guys as well. That's what the whole point of this show is. So guys, if I brought you any value, please like, subscribe, give me a thumbs up, thumbs down. If you give me a thumbs down, tell me why. But guys, help me share the show. I said I want to do a lot more longer lengths of these things, and I got to pay to do this, and it doesn't fit my budget right now, but I would love to do like an hour and a half, 2 hours, and just keep going. Guys, go out there and have yourself a near-life experience. Don't lose your muchness. Carry on that flaming fire and human up to yourselves.